Hi, I'm Ginger, reading from the Geneva New Testament with modern spellings. It's 2 Timothy, chapter 3, starting in 1. This know also, that in the last days shall come perilous times, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. And we see this a lot. A lot of people say on Facebook they can't get over themselves. They're continually posting pictures of themselves because they love themselves. They're not lovers of God. They're all about idolatry, self idolatry. They idolize themselves. They want you to see their latest dress, or the guys want you to see their latest sailboat, or them on their latest sailboat, or their new girl on their latest sailboat with them, or whatever. It's just about self, self, self. You never see them post scriptures or pictures of people starving to try to motivate people to help the poor or anything like that. It's all about, hey, look, we just got back from Hawaii or the Bahamas or a cruise or whatever. Hey, look at me. I just bought a gold with that diamond ring for my girl. Hey, look at this. Here's her finger with the ring. It's all about, oh, I just dropped 2,000 on this ring or this. That is honestly, God is not in us promoting ourselves. Promoting ourselves. If you want to make YouTube videos and you do it out of a spirit of trying to help people learn the Word of God, then go for it. You can stand before a camera and preach the Word of God. But to stand before a camera and show how much money you spent on your clothes and all you modeling all your clothes and all this, for what? So that people can, gawk at you? I mean, I understand that if God led you to show, say, some modest clothing for the reason of showing people what is modest clothing, that's fine, something like that. But to just show and brag about all your clothes and all the money you dropped in all your clothes, for what? That's it's a wrong motive. And God looks at the motives of our hearts. We don't want to be into self-worship or self-love. We we love God with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength. And we love others, our neighbor, as we love ourselves. That type of thing, yes, we care for ourselves, of course. We cherish ourselves enough that we can feed ourselves, that we give ourselves the nourishment, the food, and we take care of ourselves. We brush our teeth and take a shower and all that. Yeah, that is a given. We know that. But this here is talking about people who actually idolize themselves, and we are not to have that kind of self-love where we idolize ourselves. Okay, so for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, cursed speakers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, intemperate, fierce, despisers of them which are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. So this is loaded with a lot of things in this list. But this is how it is nowadays. You see people like this. You see people boasting all the time on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. They're boasting, oh, look, I just took my girl out to eat and we just dropped $60. And then they show you a picture of the plate of food. I mean, for what? To boast? I mean, honestly, what good is it? What are you promoting? You're promoting, maybe some people are jealous of you, so maybe you're promoting jealousy. The boasting is not good. Boast in the Lord, and that's it. That's it. Okay, so you see tons of proud people nowadays. You see lots of people who are disobedient to parents, lots of children who are mouthy, rude, out of control. That's the majority, really. We want to teach our children to obey us, but more importantly, to obey God, to read the Bible to them, to show them the way to God, to pray with them, to teach them how to pray, to show them that Jesus is the way, truth, and life, and no one comes to the Father except through Him. So it says, unholy, without natural affection. You see a lot of homosexuality in the world today. All these things listed, it says these will be in the last days. We'll see people like this, and we are seeing this. This is how it was in the days of Noah, and it says in the last days it will be like in the days of Noah. In the days of Noah, all this stuff was going on, except they didn't have Facebook in the days of Noah, but they had self-love to the point where they idolized themselves, and they had homosexuality, and they had a disobedient to parents. These children then, okay, so let's go on. False accusers. So people lying. I have a friend that was falsely accused and is in prison. I mean, false accusers. This goes on a lot today. Intemperate people who don't have control of their temper. They're out of control. They just spout out the mouth whatever comes out, and their road rage is a perfect example of somebody who doesn't have control over their self. They have no self-control. Truce breakers, false accusers, intemperate, fierce. You see that rage in people. They want to beat people up. They want to threaten their lives. This is not how a godly person is to live. If you are after God, if you've received Jesus, then you are saved by grace through faith. If you've received him, it says in John 1:12, as many as received him, he gave the right to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. And it says in Ephesians 2:8, or by grace are you saved through faith. It is a gift of God. Okay? So you are saved by grace through faith. Faith in Jesus Christ. That biblical grace, though, we need to learn about that. And I'm going to quote a verse. I'll paraphrase it. Titus 2:11-12. The grace that brings salvation teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly lusts, and to live soberly and righteously in this present world. So any grace that is that is taught, that it doesn't teach you to deny ungodliness, is not the biblical grace. Okay, so despisers of them which are good, traitors, heady, high-minded. You see lots of high-minded people. They think they're better than they really are. They think too highly of themselves. They don't think anything of God, but they sure think highly of themselves, and that is ungodliness. High-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. You see this constantly. If you were a fly on the wall and you could look in people's checkbook and you could see, oh, they took a ski trip. Oh, they went to Hawaii. Oh, they went on another vacation. Oh, they bought some new clothes. Oh, they bought a new handbag. And then you look and search to try to see if they helped any widows or orphans or anything like that, or bought Bibles for people or gospel tracts, and you can't find it. Or if you do find it, they gave $3 to missionary work. $3. And they spent thousands on their vacations and maybe jet skis or whatever. Is it a sin to own a jet ski? No. It's not a sin. But it's a sin to constantly think about yourself and not to help other people, not to help the poor. If you were laying in a ditch poor, you'd want someone to help you. If you were laying there drinking dirty water, scooping up dirty water that had parasites in it in a third world country, you'd want someone to drill a fresh water well for you. There are great ministries. Consider giving to Living Water if you want to give to fresh water projects. Living Water International. And also, if you want to give to missionary work to support missionaries who are native missionaries, they already know the language. It's called ANM, Advancing Native Missions. For $50, you can support a missionary. And if you want to give like money to help an orphan, you could consider sponsoring an orphan each month through Compassion International. Okay, those are some ideas. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a show of godliness, but have denied the power thereof. Turn away, therefore, from such. So we are to turn away from these people that I've listed. These people that are doing all these things, like loving themselves. I was teaching about what that really meant. That was somebody who is so self-absorbed that they just can't stop posting pictures of themselves, and they just can't stop posting all the money they spent on themselves or their family, and all it's them. Okay, a healthy type of way to live is to take care of yourself, to make sure you're clean and all that. But to idolize yourself is sin. It's sin. To idolize yourself is sin. Nothing should come before God. So we need to turn away from people who are idolizing themselves. And we need to turn away from people who are liars and fierce, rageful, and people who are heady and high-minded, that think so much of themselves, that don't worship God, and they're just lovers of pleasure. They just love to go on all these trips and spend all this money on themselves. Those are people that you actually have to turn away from. Because if they're not helping people, helping the poor and doing the work of God, work is not a bad word. A lot of professing Christians hate the word work because they think that you're working your way to heaven. No, we are not working our way to heaven. There's no way to work your way to heaven. But after you do get saved by grace through faith, you should do the works of God. You should work for God because you love him. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. Jesus commanded us to help the poor. Jesus commanded us to preach the gospel. It's not a suggestion about preaching the gospel. He said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. It brings tears to my eyes because so many people don't want to do it. You could start by making a gospel tract. Just make up a simple gospel tract with Bible verses and print it up and put it under windshield wipers. You can start there, and then eventually you can talk face to face to people. But we need to go forth. Work is not a bad word. You can't be saved by your works. But after you do get saved by grace through faith, we are to deny ungodliness and worldly lust. It's ungodly not to preach the gospel. It's ungodly not to help the poor. Thank you for listening. God bless all who seek after God with all their heart, mind, soul, and strength.